Hey, yo! Last day I die. Yes, I work on time. Hi, welcome to the stream. Atrioc broadcast May 14th, 2025. Do you realize that we are like over a third done with 2025? Doesn't it feel like 2025 had just begun? But I don't. Doesn't it feel like it just begun? Why is that aware? Why is that aware? Why is that an aware? That's just a fucking passage of time thing. What does that mean? We're nearing the halfway point on 25, and I feel like, how interesting is that? How quickly it goes? Because it doesn't even feel like it's been that fast. But then you look at the time and where did it go? Haven't done shit aware. You're still here, aren't you? You're still ticking. You've chatted. Why can you say you haven't done shit when you've sent amazing messages like this? I can't find your messages. I'm going to assume it was glizzy. Hey, Glizz Lord. Okay, I'm going to assume it's something like that. And so you've been putting out bangers into the world, and you're telling me you didn't enjoy that? You didn't contribute? They call me the Banger King. Never heard that about you. I've been thinking about this for a while. Your head is really hat-shaped. I've seen few hats more filled correctly. Is this a compliment? And I can't really tell. I guess I do have a big head, if that's what you're saying. But you said it in a nice way. Like I'll take it. I'm glad I fit the hat well. By the way, available at failedco's.co, the two-tone Enron hat. This is our best seller. It finally passed the original khaki. The khaki/blue. As of today, I got a call from the merch guy. Just passed original khaki. This is the one. This is the one I wear the most. It's the most. Is it tariff proof? I asked this question actually. I was like, hey, how are you guys dealing with tariffs? I said to the merch guy. He said, sir, this is how Trump tells stories. He said, sir, the tariffs don't matter. No, he said they probably pre-ordered a bunch, is what he said. They have warehouses, and so until a certain amount is sold, they don't have to reorder from China, and then that's where the tariffs will be. Or I don't even know if it's China. It could be fucking Bangladesh or something. Hey, Shrek, I'm almost done reading Barbarians at the Gate. How do I make so much money that it breaks my brain? Well, in the example of Barbarians at the Gate, you make that money by owning a cigarette company and selling nicotine and poison to people. So you could do that. There's always money in that banana stand. I do think one of you could invent... Listen, every few years we get a new way to have nicotine. Cigarettes had domination for a long time, and then we got an explosion of things. We got many different types of vapes and elf bars, and now we have fucking Zins. And so we have you guys can invent something new. What about I'm just spitballing here. What about Zin nicotine wipe toilet paper? Okay. So as you're wiping, you're getting a rush. Okay? How about that? It's like a suppository, essentially. How about, I'm sorry, we're at a brainstorm. No bad ideas. What about like Zin-laced Q-tips? So you're keeping your ear clean while you're also giving yourself a nicotine high. Ass rash epidemic. Just people getting so hooked on the wipes, they're fucking bleeding their skin off. I shouldn't say Zyn flavor. Zyn is a brand name. I just mean like nicotine enhanced. Zyn suppository. Okay, you're joking, but like, what if a plane has like a no nicotine, no Zyn rule, but then you pop something up your ass, and now you're getting high for the whole flight. Now you're feeling a little more alert for the whole flight, and no one can stop you. Nicotine mouth guards. Okay. Okay. Well, listen. Maybe if mouth guards had nicotine on them, fucking Steph Curry would keep his in his fucking mouth. Okay? Maybe we can get these players to actually use their mouth guards instead of fucking chewing on them like a baby if we put a little nicotine on them. Okay? Oh, I need to put a timer up. I need to put a timer up today because I do have a presentation. I wouldn't call it a marketing Monday, but I need to do it today. Presentation in Marketing Monday is a unique brand name, you know, and you can't possibly do a Marketing Monday on a Wednesday. It just hasn't been done. But it is a presentation I want to talk about that I will be presenting. I have an accounting project coming up on fraud. Should I do it on Enron? Sure. Yeah, that'd be a good example of fraud. Enron, WorldCom, Bernie Madoff. There's many. America is a country with a rich history of financial fraud that you could mine from to make an interesting presentation. You could do Nortel if you wanted to be different. You could do it in the Great North. You could do Theranos. Dude, so if you guys don't know, Theranos is where girl boss Elizabeth Holmes promised everyone that she'd invented a new type of blood testing that could tell you what diseases you have easily at like a CVS. It turns out it was entirely fake. It was fake. Didn't exist. Totally fake. She made the whole thing up, raised billions. Really stupid, right? Huge fraud. She went to jail. I present to you the follow-up. As of 2 days ago, Elizabeth Holmes' husband raised millions for a new blood test diagnostic startup. We've learned from her company's mistakes. They're running it back. By the way, you might be thinking, well, maybe he's a doctor or he's got more experience. No, his experience is that he is wealthy. He has wealthy parents. That's it. He has wealthy parents. I don't believe he has any medical experience at all. But he raised, 3.5 million from friends and family, and is now making this new startup, Hemanthus. Theranos to Hemanthus, which is a different fucking Greek word for blood flower. It's the exact same process. He's 33 years old. He has no fucking background in this. Look at them. The audacity, dude. The fucking audacity for her to go to jail for this and him to think, nah, now's my time to shine. That's fucking crazy. It's a radically new approach to health testing. If it sounds familiar, it's exactly what Theranos did. Theranos, sorry, I keep saying it wrong. Isn't that fucking stupid? Dude, even the testing device looks similar to hers. Oh, my God. Oh, yeah. He's the 33-year-old heir to a California hotel fortune. That's his qualifications. Dude, this is like max stupid. I mean, this is like insane. That any investor would see the husband of a notorious fraudster for a fake blood testing scheme ask for money for the same scheme, and people go, yeah, okay, they learned. It's absurd. This is absurd, bro. It's but what if it works? Yeah, it's like Fire Festival 2. It is exactly like Fire Festival 2. What if they bink it this time? I guess I'm going to feel pretty stupid if we flash forward 3 months and there's a Hemanthus blood testing site at every fucking drugstore, a grocery store, and it's the world's biggest company, and I'm an idiot because he fucking solved it. They could just bink it. I'm going to take the under, though. I don't believe it. Hey, Idle Mountain, thank you for the 26 months. The liberals want you to believe it's fake so you don't see the microchip from the vaccine in your results. Oh, I see. I see. Okay, so your conspiracy theory is that Elizabeth Holmes and her husband were both dead on the money. They invented a great blood testing device, and the liberals and the woke media are shutting them down, canceling them, and jailing them because it'll reveal the truth about how many microchips we have in our blood. Sounds right. And honestly, it's hard to disprove because it sounds so right. It fits the facts that I've got in my brain. So it's very hard to disagree with. Yup, I did my own research. He just made up the theory right now. So is your research just watching this clip and saying, yep? I walked past an electromagnet and got stuck to it because of all the microchips in me. That's a big problem. More and more people can't even go through metal detectors anymore because of how many Bill Gates microchips there are in their fucking bloodstream. It's fucked up. I mean, that one of Bill's biggest flaws that he didn't think of is that, like, we have to still fly and, like, go through security. And, like, now we catch him in the act. Have you seen the LA Chargers schedule release video? It's banger and cool marketing. I did not see that. I did see some cool marketing, though. Not that I spend too much time on specifically marketing anymore, but when it is extra good, I feel like I have to call it out. I thought this Final Destination IRL experience / social media thing was really good. This is really good. If you don't know the movie, I guess it won't make any sense, but because it's a sequel, it's actually fucking based. It's based on the iconic scene from a previous Final Destination where a truck filled with logs crashed on the highway and kills everybody. And now they're driving around with it. People are posting it all over social media. It's pretty clever. It's a clever piece of marketing. Atrioc, I'll sub for 10 months if you quit yapping and start the presentation. How about instead I ban you and I never have to hear from you ever again? And I add 5 minutes to the timer. How about that? I don't need your fucking money. I need my peace of mind, brother. Big Duty Man, thank you for the 28 months. Much appreciated. Today I had an economics final that said the main question was, what are some downsides to a prosperous economy? I thought this question was some BS. How would you answer that? Some downsides to a prosperous economy. I mean, the word prosperous implies, in some way, it implies broad distribution of the benefits. So I think it is kind of a bunk question, but your answer could be that, like, an economy could be numerically doing well, but perhaps delivering the gains to a small few, and that many people are left out of the so-called prosperity of an economy. That would be an easy fucking answer of your question. Celtics won? Oh, I thought they were going to lose for sure. I hate the fucking Celtics. How do they win without Tatum? Just finish it out, Knicks. God, I hate the fucking Celtics. If the Celtics somehow win again without Tatum, they'll never fucking hear the end of it. I just can't have that in the world. I can't have it in the world. I need fucking Boston to lose. Maybe Tatum was so bad he was holding them back. Maybe his negative fucking aura was making such a downer in the locker room. Everyone was so depressed by his presence that they now actually can fucking hang out and have a good time when he's gone. Unk, start the Prezi, you're banned too. Dude, imagine thinking you can get away with this when you're not even subbed. If you are unsubbed trying to rush me, I will ban you, bro. What the fuck I gotta lose? I'm not even losing $2.50. I'm losing nothing. Here's the fucking trade offer. I receive one whiner in my chat. You receive what? What do I get outside of that? Nothing. There's no benefit. Theoretically, how many months would you need to accept rushing? What do you mean? Hey, Atrioc, I'm a 2-year sub. Can I get timed out for today? I mean, sure. You got work to do or something? Yeah, sure. I'll time you out. Hey, Jeff Kimmerson! Thank you for the 10 gifted. Now you can set the laws. As a wealthy donor, Jeff Kimmerson, I can meet with you and we can talk about how you can influence policy. Okay? I need to fix this because I'm going to be leaning forward in this prez. There we go. Dude, it's always a little bit out of focus. There, that's pretty good. Have you seen the new FT film on MicroStrategy? No, I'll watch it. I'll watch it after the prez, I guess. That sounds fun. Ba ba da ba 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 da ba ba. Oh, we could talk about HBO Max, dude. Wait, let's just talk about that real quick because it's so funny. It's not a big topic. But if you guys don't know, we did a presentation a while ago. As of today, it's fucking back to HBO Max. It took 3 years of everyone saying how stupid the name was, and then finally, without any ceremony, they just put it back. How fucking funny is that? Dude, HBO Go, HBO Max, Max with a different logo, Max with a different logo, HBO Max, with a slightly worse logo than it was in 22, to be honest. What's the fucking point? And at every stage of this process, somebody is getting paid millions of dollars to do the stupidest decision. It's crazy. It's crazy. Some fucking consultant is moving a fucking logo around on a slide and getting paid millions by a debt-ridden company that is Warner Bros. Discovery. It's crazy. There's hope for Twitter. Dude, imagine. Nah, Elon's pretty X-pilled. I gotta be honest with you. He's pretty X-pilled. How about Max HBO? Now you're thinking. What if we flip it? Drop the Bo Max. Just H. It's cleaner. How about that? I'm watching H. And then you hear that new show on H? That sounds good. What if we drop the HBO and the MA, and then it's just X? Wow. That'll butt some heads with Elon, I gotta say. That'll butt some heads with Elon. The logo's ugly. Here's one thing you guys need to understand. I'm just gonna tell you this fucking raw and real. How beautiful or not beautiful a logo is actually doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't matter. All that matters is that it is distinct. Distinct and recognizable. That's what matters. And what matters most is that there's consistency to it. You keep it for a long time so that people can grow attached to it. That's the fucking point. That's the fucking point. Much less important than a particularly beautiful or interesting logo is that it is different, that you remember it, that is memorable and distinct and unique, and you put brand equity, which is time and marketing, into it. You say this with an Enron hat on. I want you to explain to me how that has anything to do or contradicts what I said. How does me wearing an Enron hat contradict what I said in any way? You said it like it was some fucking amazing... imagine saying that with an Enron hat. I don't know what yes, they built a brand equity, they built a logo. I've put some equity into this brand logo. That's why I keep it the same. Imagine if I change it tomorrow to a different, better looking logo. Would that sell more hats? No, it doesn't make any, it's not the point. It's not why Enron failed. No, I think it is. I think the reason Enron failed was their logo wasn't, I'm going to say it, sexy enough. Imagine if this E had 2 double Ds. Okay? That's moving unit. Then suddenly there's no fraud. They should have made their logo the Pokemon Bidoof. That's sexy. Okay, seems very specific to you. I wouldn't put that in a marketing textbook. That just feels like very specific to you. I would not say that's a universal principle that other companies could learn or apply. Jeff Kimmerson, my largest donor. Thank you for the 25 gifted. You are now part of what I'll call the elite. The financial and political elite around here. If, you know what, Jeff Kimmerson? You can ban one person from chat for today. You just say the name. You just say the fucking name and they're gone, okay? They're fucking gone. If someone's bothering you, Jeff, you let me know. He said Atrioc. Okay. This is still an authoritarian. You made the wrong choice, okay? That's like a fucking Russian oligarch saying Putin. Now I have to kill you. Now I have to murder you. You picked the one wrong name, dude. You fucking stepped on the one wrong toe. Everybody else, you're free. You're above all the laws. You just can't say Putin. Now you're getting fucking Wagnered. What was the guy's name? Dude, it's crazy how important he was, and I forgot his fucking name. Who's the Wagner guy? Prigozhin. Prigozhin, dude. Not Navalny. Dude. You guys are just naming random Russians. I can't fucking believe that. Fucking Navalny was part of the fucking paramilitary force Wagner group. Kasparov. Hey, thank you for the 10 months. Reformed cultist. Prigozhin was a dumb fuck for thinking Putin wouldn't finish him off. Maybe he just trusted his boy Vlad. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he looked into Putin's eyes and said, there's a man I can trust. And maybe, just maybe, when his plane crashed, it was a total accident. Maybe Putin gave him his word and said, you know what? Stand down, don't commit this coup, and you'll be safe. And he was right. And then a freak accident happened a few weeks later, and his plane crashed into a missile. Yeah, wouldn't that, if you're Putin, wouldn't you feel really sad? Because people are going to think you betrayed your friend, but actually, it was just a freak accident. Pretty interesting. Pretty interesting, huh? Lakers posted a strength coach position is open. How confident are you in your ability to get Luka in shape and hold him accountable? Get me in that job, okay? Here's what I'll do to make Luca less fat. I'm going to eat all his snacks. I'm just going to hang out with Luca at all times. And when he grabs Sour Patch Kids, I'm going to eat them all. I'm going to gobble them up. Okay? And that way... Oh, also, lettuce buns. This one weird trick turned Luca from fat to shredded. Lettuce bun burgers. Lettuce burger Luca. Bro's going to come back looking fucking jacked, dude. Muscles popping. And it's all just from eating lettuce bun burgers from Five Guys. Lettuce Luca. Lettuce Luca instead of Burger Doncic. Would you consider watching Buffy now that House is done? Okay, I need to answer this question in a serious matter. I regret having brought up the question about what show to watch, because now I'm getting bricks thrown through my fucking window of people telling me how I have to watch their favorite show of all time or they're going to lose it. I don't want your suggestions anymore. We never used fan suggestions in the past, and we shouldn't in the future. It's going to be whatever the fuck I want to watch, honestly. That's what we're going to do. The fact that I opened the floor, I thought it would be fun discussion, but people are incapable of hearing that their best show, their favorite show won't get picked. And only one can get picked. Not that I have anything against Buffy. To be clear, Buffy is a choice that I would consider. But I just don't want you to tell me about it. I actually think Buffy is a show that may seem a little silly, but I feel like I missed and would have enjoyed. You know? I liked Firefly, and it's Joss Whedon, right? So and I think it has like slop episodes good. You know, it could possibly fit. It's also possible that I pick a bunch of shows. I was thinking about an idea where I pick a random show and we collectively as a chat watch the first episode and the last episode and try to guess what the fuck happened. I think that would be fun. There's a lot of options, but here's the idea. I'm not taking suggestions and I don't want to hear about your favorite show. That's my idea. I got a fuck ton of DMs, Discord and Twitter of people sending me like trailers and shit. I don't want it. It actually will anti-sway me against the fucking show. So DMU shows we don't want you to watch. Clever. You've played this. You've played the incentives I've created. Oh, and just to save us all time, I watched the entirety of Psych yesterday, the whole thing, and I loved it. Perfect show, no notes, but it's so fresh to me I can't watch it. Literally flawless. If you like Psych, you are smarter than the average person. You have a really good taste in shows. I watched the whole thing and the movies, and what I noticed was that it was flawless. I noticed that like it was a perfect blend of comedy, humor, and real bits of heart, soulful melancholy, and deep character connections. And once I saw that, I knew I had found something truly great. And now that I've seen it, though, it's just too fresh for me. Too fresh to rewatch. Ninth Floor Cat, thank you for the 8 months. You should watch this new episodic event called Lemonade Stand. I will say that I think today's episode of Lemonade Stand, which comes out tomorrow, is one of my favorite, maybe my favorite. Because I think the last one, first of all, my hairline problem, we talk about it. It was bad. My hairline problem. Plus, we did one topic for too long. It was like 2 hours long of one topic. That's too much. This time, we had a lot of topics. We did it free flowing. It felt good energy, good crackling. I felt very good about today's episode. I would say is my favorite one. And if I had to suggest an episode to a person to start, it would be this one. Say that every time. I literally did not say that last time. Actually, said the opposite. Do you plan on doing guest episodes? Not only do we, we've got some fucking good guests lined up. I'm talking Barack Obama's assistant's dog. I'm talking Xi Jinping's #1 fan, me. I'm talking Connor Eats Pants's reject guests from Fortnite Friday. No, we got some good guests, but we're trying to get like a lot of episodes of us until we get our format right. We're experimenting until we feel like every week it's fun and good with us. Because if the show's not where we want it to be with us, then we can't just paper over it with a guest, you know? So once we get that part right, then we start putting guests on. That's kind of like juice on the fucking squeeze. If that makes any sense. We are getting Kanye on. He has apparently some really interesting ideas on leaders from World War II or something, some history lesson or something to give us. I don't know much about it, but he seems pretty passionate about it. So we're gonna give him a full unbroken hour 50 to explain his thoughts. The one thing Kanye's never been given is a platform. We are not going to watch the House retrospective. No. It'll be a new show. Penguin of Space, thank you for the 34 months. Much appreciated. I know that short form content rots my brain and makes me shorter term memory, so I only watch long form. However, I watch 30, 40 hours a week. So I still feel like my brain is rotting and I'm having short term memory. Any tips on how to lower the time I spend? You watch 30 to 40 hours a week of long form content? How much is that? That's a lot. That's a full-time job. But I don't know. How many hours a day is that? 6 hours. That's 6 hours a day of long form content. Do you mean like TV shows or what? You mean like YouTube? If that's your only form of media, that's not the craziest thing. It's a lot. It is a fucking lot, man. I gotta be honest with you. That's a lot. That's a lot, but like it's not the craziest. Atrioc VOD channel, he literally couldn't. I don't stream enough for a person to watch that much content and have enough content to watch. They could watch every VOD start to finish and they would not have enough content to do 6 hour days every day. That's insane. I don't stream 6 hours a day. So, Andy's on the air. It's fucking, oh, dude, by the fucking way. Do you guys remember a few days ago or something? I was worried about how hot it was. So I put a freezer shirt in and then it was the house marathon. I forgot about it. And so Ari opened it today. It's been in there for like a week, dude. Or like 4 or 5 days. That shirt is fucking crispy. Live by the freezer shirt, die by the freezer shirt, I always say. That is what I always say. Hey, Atrioc, maybe not today, but sometime can we get your thoughts on government employees and how the Doge impacts appear to be unfolding? As one who decided to say, I'm here to get non-fed opinions. I read a great article about this today. and it was the big read in the FT, and it was called, "What has Elon Musk's Doge actually achieved?" And the answer is basically fuck all. Basically, fuck all, dude. They went through the math. They broke it down. The fact is, this is our government spending in 25. It is above where it was at the same time last year in 24, well above 23, also above 22. We've had no deficit reduction at all. And this is before the new great big beautiful bill going through the House that is going to blow out the fucking deficit, huge tax cuts, no tax on tips, no tax on overtime. This deficit's about to fucking skyrocket. So I'm not being facetious or inflammatory when I tell you that Doge has done nothing. Fucking nothing. The deficit has not been reduced, will not be reduced. And if you look at their website, so much of their claimed cuts are also very difficult to even verify. Like if you click into them, they have like details withheld for legal reasons, and no one can verify. No one can match it up with anything. Unmatching paperwork, expired, not real. So it's like only a small portion of the already small cuts. Look at, we're down to 32. Remember how it used to be 2 trillion? Now they're claiming 32 billion of cuts, a lot of which can't be verified. You know, so we're maybe 12 billion of cuts in a multi-trillion-dollar, deficit. Or, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. The job is not done. The job hasn't even been started. All it did was cause chaos. One of the lines in here was pretty important, which is like from somebody who supported Doge. They were like, hey, I love the idea, but it would have been cool if they spent a year understanding how government works before they even tried to cut anything, instead of just running in and trying to fucking cut. They need to take a year figuring out how the government operates before they started tearing it apart. So, I gotta think Doge has been a colossal top to bottom joke. Basically a cloud cover for an absolute deficit blowout that's about to happen, to confuse the issue and make it seem like they're interested in balancing the budget. Just not. I mean, there was no effort made. And again, I can't say this over and over enough, but if you're not going to cut one of the big four, which is, Social Security, Medicare, military, or interest payments, which you can't cut, then you're not actually making any real dent. And of those three, the most Americans will support a cut is the military. And that's been expanded. That's been blown out. The military budget is $1 trillion or 150 billion more. Trillion total. So, thank you for your question, but my answer is that it sucks. My answer is that it sucks, dude. And I will say this, okay, so the total cut, even if I take them at their word and it's 32 billion, that everything they claimed is real. Okay? Despite all this, it's 32 billion. Understand that one of the things they cut is IRS staff. So the ability of the government to actually enforce and collect taxes has been deeply hurt, which means we're going to raise less taxes this coming year. The amount we're going to lose in taxes is well more than the 32 billion that we saved total. So the net result is that Doge likely is costing the U.S. government money. Like all this talk to cost the government money. That's crazy. I'm going to talk about, there's something I want to talk about today that is positive, that I'm positive about with regards to Trump specifically, not Elon, but Trump. I'm going to talk about it today, and I'm excited to talk about it. But with regards to Elon's contributions to the government, I have found nothing to be excited about. It all seems like a cover to pretend like there's money being saved while they're actually just doing tax cuts, and for him personally to get a bunch of contracts for Starlink. It like the Doge and Elon and government stuff has been great for Starlink, for them to get huge government contracts with America and foreign governments. So I don't know. That's the big beneficiary is Elon himself. Um, Why was inflation so low in April? Tariff impacts have not been counted yet, and we'll see. I mean, they fluctuate every day. But also, I would look deeper into the inflation report for April because what it showed was Americans have much cheaper gas, so energy costs have actually dropped. But things like food have gone up. So it averages out to a CPI number that's like relatively low inflation, like 2 point something percent inflation. But in fact, for regular people, they're like seeing food costs go up 7%, and they're seeing gas costs go down, 4 or 5 or whatever. So it's, on net with the basket of goods they choose, it only went up 2.7% or whatever, which is still above the 2% target. But I would say the areas that rose a lot, I think health insurance or healthcare was up like 7-8%. Like some certain parts of it are going up at a still steady clip. And just a few things are saving it, which are like gas is still falling. Housing, I think rent and housing are actually starting to fall because, to be honest, there's many places have overbuilt. Many places Airbnbs are going under. Like people, I'm seeing so many more reports, especially from places like Florida and Texas, where people are very motivated sellers. They're very motivated to try and sell their house, and nobody's buying. Nobody wants your fucking house unless you do it for like $10,000 under asking. Now this is not all parts of the country, not everywhere. I'm speaking specifically about over areas that had huge COVID booms, Texas and Florida. Isn't that good? Yeah. I mean, yes. Housing prices going down is good. Housing prices going down very quickly would be bad. So whether it's a crash or not, right? But it still slows the economy down when you have people who thought they had a bunch of money in their house. No, they don't. It's complicated, as with all things economical. That's Cap. The faster the better. So you were pogging in 2008 and 9 when people lost their homes on the street, higher levels of suicide, depression, Occupy Wall Street. You were pogging faster, as quickly as possible. Hey, thanks for the gifties. Phil Dump-a-Dump. Thank you for the gifties. Sorry, I need more time here. I was playing Pokemon. Yeah, of course I was pogging. Dude, when did Pokemon Diamond come out? That was the last time I really fucking played Pokemon. Like, really played it. Like, put in the hours. Was that 07? Oh, yeah. I loved the recession then. Didn't even notice it. Dude, I played Pokemon Diamond for 2.5 years straight. I played that like a fucking crack addict. I was on the GameFAQs message boards challenging fools. I was on the Penny Arcade I was going around the internet. I was on Smogon. I was just going around the internet challenging people on forums. Give me your friend code, fucker. Take you down. I love that shit. I remember my parents came home probably mad about their 401k dropping to nothing in the fucking Great Recession. My dad was in a bad mood. He came home. He opened the door to the den or whatever. I was laying on the floor playing Pokemon, and I had just lost a match to a fucking stall team. Some asshole was playing fucking Tyranitar, Hippowdon, Skarmory or some shit, just fucking swapping and stalling. I took my fucking DS, I threw it at the fucking wall, broke the hinge, and my dad said, "We bought you that. You cannot fucking wreck property like that. It's disrespectful." And then he fucking grounded me for a month and was fucking screaming at me. I got in so much trouble. Uh, how old were you? I was probably 45. I was just really into Pokemon. I was probably like 45 in 2007. No, I was like 15, 16. Um, isn't Doge a worthwhile trade-off to get rid of the woke workers building the Obama library? That's the problem. That's the biggest reason I'm mad at Doge. I love Daddy Elon. Everything he does is fucking great. But he's been doing Doge for 6, 7 months now. And I'm sorry, 5 months, 5, 6 months. And Obama still has woke workers making his fucking library. What is Elon up to? Where is he fucking... He's too busy with the Mars shit to get rid of these woke construction workers. Asleep at the wheel, yeah. He's going to send them to Mars. That's the plan. I see. But how are we going to build a Martian base when they can't even build Obama's library? Think about that. Won't the rent-seeking class always act like the housing price is declining is a bad thing? I love your praxis here, but I want you to understand that in 2007, the people hurt by declining housing prices were not just the rent-seeking class. It was mostly people who had bought homes on debt and could no longer afford the payments because they were underwater. That I understand. Listen, we do need housing prices to go down. Full stop. The Band-Aid has to be ripped off. The problem is there will be pain. There's no way to do it without significant pain to, again, a lot of regular people. A lot of people. Because the system has been set up. It's like Australia. Let's take it out of America. Let's go to Australia. Australia has a horrendous housing problem. It's too fucking expensive. If they fixed the problems and brought housing prices down, it would financially cripple a huge swath of Australians who had been bought into the previous system and taking out huge loans to buy houses they thought would always go up in price. Now they're all underwater. Now they're fucked. Okay? That you have to do it, but understand there will be pain. Now, I think we have to do it no matter what because, again, someone will have to sacrifice sometime somewhere. And if it's going to be somebody, it might as well be wealthier home-owning boomers. Okay? That's... If somebody has to sacrifice, they're not all rich. Many of them are people who are, middle class, lower middle class. They're going to hurt. It's not fair, but the majority of people who will be hurt are wealthier landowning boomers. If all the houses are underwater, the only buyer will be Aquaman. When I say underwater, just to be clear, I mean physically under the ocean. That is correct. But somebody dumber than me might mean that the amount they owe on their mortgage is more than the house is worth. So you're just paying essentially extra money for nothing. And most people walk away from that. But I meant like a huge tidal wave is going to come and wash out all of Texas. And you'll have to swim to your house. What would you in the military budget would you cut specifically? I guess I would cut I would cut the stupid hats they wear and the DEI. I would cut the DEI and the hats. That's what I would cut. That's probably what I would cut. And I would probably cut, everybody on in basic training has to cut their hair, get a buzz cut. That costs barbers time. I would cut the haircuts. Everyone can have long flowing locks while they fight in our military. That's going to save money. It's going to add up. Oh yeah, we only hire balds to save the haircut costs. A bald only military. That's good. I like where we're headed for that. I would cut. You know what I would do? Easy. I would have the Army, the Navy, and the Air Force fight a war against each other. Whichever service comes out on top is the strongest. We don't need the other two. Save 2/3 the budget. Uh-oh. Sorry. Big ideas solve problems. Big ideas solve problems. What about all the destruction? I'll have them do the battle in Russia. I'll set the battleground in Russia, and all three of them will fight there. Easy. I'm solving problems. And listen, I'm not saying these are the perfect solutions. I'm just saying they're the best solutions ever offered. Atrioc, you suggested reading Ray Dalio's Principles book. Did you ever watch the YouTube video? No, because I read the book. So no, but I can appreciate a good YouTube video explaining something in a book. That's my fucking job. He has an upcoming book that's about to come out that I'm excited for, that I'm hoping to read right after it comes out and turn into a YouTube video. That's kind of my goal. I thought the whoosh sound effect was added in post. Welcome to live, Elite Skittles. Shit's a little different around here. We get real-time auditory whooshes as I pull. You're fucking experiencing a real live impact. 3,000 people get to see you right now. Only the hair is added in post. I have hair, okay? I have hair. Well, not as much as I want. Not as much as I want, but I do have it. Okay? It's not CGI. Look down. I will look down. There's no. My problem is my hairline, not the. It's not. I don't have a fucking George Costanza. Turkey trip with lemonade stand? Dude, unironically, I will. Not today. Not within a year. Eventually, dude. Eventually, I'm going to pull an Elon Musk. Eventually, I'll buy whatever I got enough money for it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to fucking... Whatever he bought, I'm going to buy it. You still going to China? Well, actually, here's a little tip for the young men out there that are one day thinking of going fucking to Turkey. The real answer, boys? South Korea. South Korea is the new Turkey. Now, I'm putting you on game right now. South Korea, they're so far ahead of the game on fucking beautification procedures. They have an insane dystopian K-pop society where everybody's getting surgery at age 13, dude. It's fucking crazy. But they have all that shit down to a science, and it's cheap. Does South Korea have good kebab spots? Not as good as Turkey, bro. You're going to miss out on that. What's dystopian about beauty? Is a real question. Is this a real question? You don't think there's anything dystopian about a society bending over backwards to get cosmetic plastic surgery from an early age to match up to the beautification standard of an airbrushed K-pop star at all time? You don't think there's anything They made a whole young adult series about this called Uglies or something. What? It's called Uglies? What the fuck does that mean? Uglies, you said? What the fuck is that? I've never heard of that. Uglies? Oh, wait, I'm never going to find this. Okay, this would have been a good bit if I knew where it was. I read that book when I was a fucking kid. Way, way, way long ago. And it's definitely on this shelf somewhere. I know because I fucking... where the fuck? Bro! Uglies. Uglies, uglies, uglies. Come on. It's got to be around here somewhere. Uglies. 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 Bro. Alright, I'm not gonna fucking find it. Oh, wait! No. Is this good content? Should I make a video about this? Should I make a video of me spending 30 minutes searching my bookshelf for the fucking book Uglies? I don't know where it is, dude. Anyway, I read the whole fucking series. It was like Uglies, Pretties, whatever. And it was about, it was very Black Mirror for teens a long time ago. It was about a society where everyone is cosmetically beautiful. And then one person is like kicked out of the society and goes to live with the uglies. And I guess starts a violent revolution against the beautiful people and then breaks into their city and tears it down. Something like that. Have you tried storing the books in an order? That's the problem. The problem is my Dewey Decimal System is what color is the book, and am I feeling lazy and need to stick it somewhere? So like, that's all the blue books, all the green books, all the yellow books, all the white books, black books, red books, and then a bunch of them I just got lazy at the bottom. So it's not a perfect system. It's kind of a difficult system to find the book unless I can remember what the cover looked like. And I don't remember what Uglies look like. Pale pink or pale blue? I mean, here's the thing I'm thinking about as I look for this book. It's that once I find the book, what are we going to do? I'm going to hold it up and I'm going to be like, yep, that's a book. I'm not going to sit here and read it. So what's the fucking point? Why am I looking for it? I don't know. I wanted to find it in 2 seconds, but now that I haven't, it feels like I'm really causing a ruckus for nothing. God damn it. It's bothering me because I know I saw it when I was, when we were first putting these all in. Because I remembered. I was like, oh, I remember that book. Whatever. Whatever. It ain't that deep, Lil Pup. You only read Harry Potter? Dude, I wish. I feel like every book I've read other than Harry Potter, a letdown. You know what I'm saying? I feel like once you've read J.K. Rowling's brilliant prose, why would you go back to someone as stupid as like John Steinbeck? I like the pew pew spells. Hey, thanks for the sub. Oh, Chicken 24. Night Cheerion, thank you for the 9 months. Super Ninja, thank you for the 25. Short Sale for the 12. Jerry C, thank you for the 18 months. Actually Mayo, thank you for the 27. Steel Man for the 12. Can I get a chicken jockey if you just love Jack Black? Can I get a chicken jockey if you... Can I get a chicken jockey if you just hate when people are mean? When teachers give you homework? That's what I think. I saw it today. Honestly, not a bad movie. Dude, I honestly feel this. I'm going to say it. I feel like you guys have all set your standards so low. And I don't know if that's a response to this world or the problem with it. But you've set your bar so low that everything is just fine. And maybe that's a good way to live. Maybe that's a good way to live. Low standards means you can't get hurt. Did you see Sinners? Yeah, I like Sinners. Sinners was good. Oh, it's been a long time. It's been a long enough time so I can say it. I think the middle third of Sinners was fucking 10 out of 10. I loved it. I thought the first third was fine, kind of intro setup. Some audio issues where they were driving in a car whispering. Not a big deal. And I thought the last third was kind of a... Again, it's not a knock. I like the movie. I thought the last third was a little bit like a formulaic wrap up. But I thought the middle third, basically the party part, was like perfect. It was like I was riveted. Every character was interesting. It was great. I thought the middle third was great. Maybe it's more than a third, but like the middle of the movie. You know, I went into that theater kind of tired, and I thought I would fall asleep, honestly, because I fall asleep in movie theaters sometimes. I was gripped, so I really liked the movie, but I thought I wish they had stuck the landing a little bit better to me. Oh God. Thoughts on Malcolm in the Middle? Yeah, I love Malcolm in the Middle. What's my favorite part of Malcolm in the Middle? I like the episode where Malcolm meets somebody who's smarter than he is. He meets an even nerdier, smarter kid. And then Malcolm feels really dumb. That's a great episode. I remember a line from it This is for like 20 years ago. But Malcolm, if you guys don't know, it's Malcolm in the Middle is like a genius kid who is of the family that's kind of dumb, played by fucking Heisenberg, his dad, Bryan Cranston. And Malcolm goes, yeah, sometimes when I'm thinking, it feels like a million different neurons are firing all at once. And I am having them all intersect and intertwine to build a mental model of what I'm creating. And then the other smarter kid goes like, yeah, I sort of feel like my mind is like a beehive filled with millions of bees. And every bee in my beehive mind has a mind like yours. And that shit made me laugh so hard. I was like, I don't know, as a kid, he was like getting so mogged. I don't know why. It just cracked me up as a kid. He was a genius. I've heard that part of the story. You forgot the part of the story where Malcolm is a genius. That's like the whole fucking story. That's the whole thing. That's the whole story. That's like that moves on the plot in like a lot of the episodes. That is the beginning and the end. The end of the show, spoilers, is that they tell Malcolm that he has to become president of the United States because he's the only one in this fucking family who has that potential. And it's going to be harder for him. And he has to... Hey, big guy, love the podcast. I'm wondering if you guys plan to do coverage on more niche, less important topics. For example, one of the biggest VFX firms in the world recently went belly up and it's shaking up the industry. I like the coverage. I can hear about Trump and AI so many times for losing my mind. Well, I think this week is much different than Trump or AI. But I haven't heard the specific VFX thing. I don't know that particularly will get covered. But we are doing a lot more topics. That's the plan. Just more. Just more topics per episode is the plan. Because I think at the end of the day, someone brings up something interesting they read. Other two hosts give their thoughts on it. We laugh a bit, maybe a follow-up question, move on. You know? There's only so much you can say on each topic. We don't need to spend that's the idea. Anyway, we're trying. How much backlog do you record? We don't record a backlog at all. We don't record a backlog at all. Here, last timer extension. Let me make sure I got my fucking prez ready. Is my presentation ready? Yes, I think it is. Okay, yeah. I like Doug's thesis. Yeah, we didn't get so much positive feedback on that one. I think it's fair. It was too long. It's an hour 50 on one subject. I think it should have been 50, 45 on one. That's what we're trying. We're trying to do one big topic and then a bunch of little ones. That's what we're trying to do. Make it a little the three topic thing felt natural. Yeah, or something like that. I think the idea is like one that we all research. Because one of the problems with the pod, right? These are not I love the pod. The pod's been great so far. I'm just trying to. We're always thinking of how to make it better, right? One of the problems is, let's say Doug brings some AI topic and I bring some business topic and Aiden brings some I mean, it must be politics topic, but I was going to make an Aiden joke. Politics topic, or Canada topic, or trains topic. Okay. And, part of the fun of the show is like, maybe Doug is really excited about this and he's sharing it with us. Okay. But also part of the fun of the show is if we all know something about it, we can ask better questions and we can join in. So the idea is like, what if the main topic is one thing? What if it's just, I don't know. What if one week it's fucking tariffs, or one week it's fucking socialized housing, or one week it's fucking medicine or whatever. And we all prep for that. We bring our own angles for it, but we all prep for the same topic. And then after that topic, we all just launch into whatever the fun things we read about this week. We just, whatever we talk about. That's the idea. We want one title topic and then everything else. I think that's a better way to do it than a split down the thirds and we're all just bringing one topic where everyone, like if Doug says a bunch of stuff about AI and we don't know about it, then we go, huh, cool, interesting. But if we have all read about it, then we can jump in more. I think this new system is better. And we tried it on this last episode today and it was good. I felt really good about it. Timer! Okay, close this. Wait. Wait. There's a guest here. Okay. No, not a guest for the stream. A guest who's staying with us. I just wanted to say hi, so I'm not like on streaming. It is Xi Jinping, but he's here to party. He's not here to fucking stream. Hey, babe.
Sorry, I'm just getting a suitcase from in here.
Hi, babe.
Do they want to see my boobie? It's a boobie.
I understand. The bird is a booby. Let's be careful.
Man, I love the jeweler.
Yeah. All right.
Can you tell me to keep doing that?
Jewelers?
Do you know what jeweler is? If you step this way, you won't be on cam. Like this. Okay, I want you to see those fish emote. Like, they're so funny, right? They spam it when I show up.
What?
Yeah, there's a lot of spinning fish.
Is it because you love sardines?
I think... Is that why?
I don't know. Okay. I think you just like the emo. And then
look at that.
You're just like, I love the Joel.
There's one wearing a flannel. And then there's chicken
I
walk.
do like the flannel Joel.
Can we see chicken walk? Don't laugh. Wait, it's so funny. Look at there.
She leans into the mic like it's she's talking to ChatGPT.
It's like a naked chicken.
Yeah, it's like a
He's like
chicken,
walking.
like
I do like its attitude.
It's really funny. Like, do you see that?
You should
Yeah.
the EDC totem.
Oh, maybe the fish is on there.
All right, I got to do a presentation.
Yeah,
I got a presentation. Psych. Crank the timer up. Psych. Crank that timer up. Give me 45 on the fucking clock. I'm sorry. I'm trying to work to put food on the table for my family. I'm sorry. People are talking about chicken walks. I'm trying to work. Okay, where's my fucking... I just need to set things up. Is that so much to ask? This is not a Marketing Monday, by the way. This is something I've been wanting to talk about for a few days, and I decided to I cranked out 40, 50 slides on it because I just wanted to talk about it. But it's not like a fucking main channel Marketing Wednesday. Also, what time is it? I think after this, we could even do best tweets. Well, we'll see. Depends on my energy level. Best tweets, you got to be kind of fucking. Could be a Thursday. We do have the best tweets though. Dude, actually, just speaking of best tweets, I'm not fucking around. Huge shout out to the best tweets team. I don't know everyone on it to give them thanks by names. All I know is High Security made this specific. They made me an extension that connects with Chrome and automatically opens all the tweets, and I can just click next and it goes to the next one. It's actually so fucking based. It's incredible. Hey guys, I have a question for you. Travis Gafford is reaching out to me because they're doing a Magic the Gathering creator event with Wizards where creators are going to play Magic against each other. I'm involved. And he needs one more creator. Is there any creator that likes Magic the Gathering on Twitch who'd be open to... Wubby? He might have already asked Wubby, but I could ask. Maybe Jarvis? Grand Pooh Bear? Does Point Crow play? He would be... It can't be Moist because Moist does not travel. Moist lives in Florida and he does not fly. Charlie does not fly. And so you can't. Tearzu! Oh my God. Hey, Tearzu. Fuck it. Do you want to do this? Tearzu, I saw your tweet. Okay. Tearzu tweeted this. No, he said, I try not to talk about politics much here, but I will say it would be really interesting to see which political commentary live streamers would be brave enough to go live, hide chat, open chat GPT, enter this prompt, and answer off the dome with no assistance. I'm fucking down. I'm fucking down, dude. I'm fucking down. Fuck it, dude. Who I give a shit. Okay? But we have a mod in here. You got to go fucking... Emote only. I'll do it right now. But, this is me being open and honest. So you can't make fun of me if I fucking get something wrong about fucking Turkmenistan or something. All right, how do I type this? Okay, put it over here. Create a quiz. Okay, here we go. Create a quiz on the subject of geopolitics that you think an experienced political commentator should be able to answer. Oh, shit. Okay. Fuck it. Okay, these are a lot of long form questions. All right, fuck it. Start. Number 1. String of pearls is a strategy associated with China designed to gain access to naval ports along the Indian Ocean and or contain geostrategic rivals like India. How did the 1973 oil embargo by OPEC change the global balance of power, particularly for the U.S. and Europe? Change the global balance of power, particularly for the U.S. and Europe. The OPEC oil embargo in 1973 revealed the extent of the dependency of Western nations on oil-producing countries, primarily in the Middle East, causing a shift in their strategies to focus more on those regions to gain control / influence over oil supply chains. 3. What is the difference between a sphere of influence and a buffer state? Give one real-world example of each from the 20th century. Difference between a sphere of influence and a buffer state. I mean, a buffer state is something like, honestly, Ukraine for NATO Russia. Or Pakistan for China India. Sphere of influence feels very vague. Maybe I haven't heard it used in... I'll just go with my gut on this. I'll say sphere of influence is an area within a country's direct control. Now, an area in which a country / regional power has increased authority, control, like influence, i.e., like NATO over... I'm trying to think of like what would be a real world example of... you know what? I'll say like... regional powers such as the U.S. over North America, China over Southeast Asia, Russia over Eastern Europe. Has increased authority and control influence. And a buffer state is specifically a sovereign that separates differing spheres of influence, i.e., Ukraine between NATO, Russia, or Pakistan between China, India. We'll see. Name 3 reasons why the Arctic is becoming a major geopolitical hotspot in the 21st century. Number 1, as Arctic ice melts, new shipping lanes are opening, giving new profitable shipping lanes are opening, redrawing the balance of the value of certain Arctic ports. Keep saying northern land ports. Okay, number 1. Number 2. Number 2 is new mineral deposits like oil and rare earth minerals are becoming more, are being discovered, partially from new technology and partially because of changing sea levels, ice melting. that are increasingly valuable in today's economy. And the third reason would be strategic or geostrategic rivalries between the U.S., Russia, China, all of whom stand to benefit from number one and two above, make taking an authority, staking their claim to this new to these new routes, minerals in the Arctic, increasingly important. Okay? Increasingly important / urgent, raising tensions. There. Wait. Okay, that's fine. 5. There's fucking 10 of these? Oh, God. Oh, God. Okay. What role does the Malacca Strait play in global trade, and why is it a strategic point for China? Just a large, I mean, there's a lot of trade through there. What specific role? Is there a unique good? I'm just going to give it a basic answer, is that it's an important shipping lane for Asian commerce, and it must have some specific importance to China. Am I even part of the string of pearls? I'm not sure. TBD on that. Go to 6. Why did the U.S. withdraw from the Intermediate Range Nuclear Forces Treaty in 2019? What were the geopolitical implications? 2019. That's Donald Trump. He probably withdrew from it because it was too woke. Why did the U.S. withdraw from the INF Treaty in 2019? What are the geopolitical implications? Unsure. 7. How did the Bretton Woods system tie into U.S. post-World War II geopolitical dominance? Yeah, it's incredible. Bretton Woods was formed post-World War II to reorganize the global financial system, with the U.S. dollar pegged to gold, established as the world reserve currency, while other major currencies would be pegged to the U.S. dollar. Pegged, by the way, flirt. U.S. dollar. This gave, as the French would call it, exorbitant privilege to the U.S. dollar. Spelled wrong. Privilege to the U.S. dollar, which, as long as it wasn't being redeemed for gold, could spend far beyond its means, as it had to be used as the backing currency for other major nations. This system, along with the UN, the WTO, etc., were all part of a U.S.-led setup of a global network of systems that often benefited them at the head. 8. What is salami slicing? Dude, I've heard this. Salami slicing is China's strategy of, like, every few months they just move their border forward a little bit. You know? Essentially, China's just like, it's ours now. They just kind of squeak it out. And it's like not enough for anyone to get mad. Salami slicing is a pejorative term used against Chinese foreign policy of small but steady encroachments on surrounding, encroachments, maybe another word. Small but steady encroaching claims on surrounding territory. Pejorative term used against small but steady encroaching claims on surrounding territory. The idea is each individual salami slice is not big enough to cause a major conflict, but it continues to expand at the expense of non-China regional countries. Compare and contrast NATO's 1999 intervention with Kosovo with Russia's 2014 annexation of Crimea in terms of legality and international reaction. Oh, God. 1999, I was 8 years old. I was playing fucking Pokemon, dude. I don't know so much about Kosovo. Compare and contrast NATO's 1999 intervention in Kosovo with Russia's 2014 annexation of Crimea in terms of legality and international. I mean, look, Chat GPT. The real answer is those with power set and make the rules. So without knowing too much about Kosovo in 1999, my assumption is that the legality of a UN-led intervention would probably be considered far more above board with a less damaging international reaction. I mean, let's be honest. In 1999, there was no other global power at any level of influence compared to NATO, global military power. Than what Russia attempted in Crimea in 2014. That being said, this does not excuse Vladimir Putin or Russia's actions in any fucking way. His tactics in Crimea are the same many autocrats have used to justify territorial expansion throughout history, such as claiming an Russian ethnic population in the area that he needed to save. 10. What is the debt trap diplomacy accusation against China's Belt and Road Initiative, and how did China and critics frame the issue differently? Good question. Okay. Debt trap diplomacy is when a wealthier, more powerful nation offers loans, debt to a developing, less wealthy nation with significant strings penalties attached to the point where they benefit from non-payments. Is that better? Strings penalties attached to the point where they benefit from non-payments. China's Belt and Road Initiative, much like the IMF World Bank has been accused of using debt trap diplomacy to lock developing countries into debt they know it can't pay back in order to secure strategic assets. In China's case, like a major port. China's critics would frame it as, basically, as I said above. Actually, that's basically it. China would frame their actions differently in that they are providing a much desired second option to the previous monopoly of the U.S.-led financial order in the IMF World Bank style. Yeah, I think that's good. Okay, so that's 10. 9. So what did I skip? I skipped 6 and 5. Oh, God. So to be honest, I'm not sure I know these. I don't specifically know. I mean, I could say because Donnie Trump was feeling some type of way. I mean, for real, there was definitely something specific, but it's not in my brainstem right now. I guess if I were to guess, I would say because Trump felt like the U.S. was being taken advantage of by the treaty. Okay? And the geopolitical implications were an increased sense by other nations that it was every man for themselves. And a likely increase in nuclear proliferation. But that's really a guess. And then 5, Malacca Strait. It's an important shipping link for Asian commerce, and China sees it as important for their future growth and security. Kind of a cop-out ass answer. I like the rest of them, though. I feel good about all the rest. String of Pearls I 100% know about, so I want to make sure this is give me a good grade here. Yeah, okay. Great. Fuck it, run it. I've been doing this for a long time and I feel bad now. I have a presentation to do. I'm sorry we're doing homework on stream. I thought this would be way shorter. I thought this quiz would be way shorter, bro, but I don't want to fucking cop out. All right, fuck it, run it. Let's see what we get. Okay, glazing. Green. Yeah, okay, mostly correct, but a bit thin. Yeah, fair. Okay, it was because of oil. It was fucking oil. I assumed it was just trade. INF treaty was all directionally right, but oversimplified. Okay. Yeah, again, I didn't know that this one. These are fair. Russia's violation, they used missiles. Trump felt constrained strategically by China. Okay. Directionally right, but I didn't know the specifics. Bretton Woods, very strong. That was the one I was most proud of. I'm just reading a book on Bretton Woods. Salami slicing, spot on. Kosovo vs. Crimea, brutally honest and broadly accurate. Okay. 9.5 out of 10. How about that? How about fucking that? Let's fucking go. Let's fucking go. I'm not. You know what? I went in with no fucking. You know, I'll take it. I'm not saying it's the best answers ever, but what did Tears you say? Bro, I'm gonna be real. Your quiz was 10 times harder than the one it gave me. For me, it was like name the 5 permanent members of the UN and share the special power they have, and similar short answer style questions. It had you writing whole essays. If you have memories enabled for ChatGPT, it might have bumped up the difficulty. Yeah, so I asked ChatGPT to quiz me like every day. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm always asking Chat. I put in an article, I'm like, quiz me. So I've been doing this so it's probably just a memory thing, but that's funny. That's funny. I wish I could try it on a fucking fresh account. I would love to. That honestly felt kind of hard, bro. When I saw those questions, I was like, damn. I was like, damn, bro. I was like, damn. I want a Smurf account, ChatGPT. But look, I mean, you can look. I'll just fucking pull it up. Look, this is low key. Like a few days ago. I asked it a question about government bonds. Okay, it's asking me about yield curve significance, convexity in bonds, primary, secondary market, and then these are my answers, bro. Because I want to be able to explain this shit, so I want to make sure I understand it. So I write this all. I mean, I'm even fucking talking to it, and then I get a good fucking result. I don't know, 9.5. All right, so there we go. This is what he does in his free time. I'm sorry. Sometimes it's nice to be able to explain something and feel like you actually understand it and you're not just fucking bullshitting. Okay? ChatGPT is one of the best things for that because I can feel like I actually. Yawn, never a 10, always a 9.5. It's not always a 9.5. It just happens to be. Oh, Tearsy, you want to do Magic the Gathering? Okay, that's what you mentioned. Okay, let me just mention this right now. Also, I just talked to Tearzu, and he'd be super down. Check him out. All right, I mentioned it to Travis, so we'll see. All right, presentation. Sorry. Presentation. Guys, now I will say this, and I want to be real. I know that I got a 9.5 and it's not perfect. And I am a little ashamed that Asmongold's getting a 12. You guys know that same question, same quiz, dude is fucking cranking out getting a 12. And I understand that, and I appreciate you watching me anyway. Even though he would fucking mog me on every one of those questions fucking easy. 12 out of 10. 9.5 out of 10 is the best result because real ones know there's always more to learn. Dude, before my name was Atrioc, before my online tag was Atrioc, I tried to make my tag and my online identity B+. And it was because I had this slogan where I was like, B+ is the best grade because it means there's always more to learn. And my name's Brandon, so I was like, you know what's funny? I wasn't even a good student. When I made that, I was getting D's. It wasn't like I was fucking acing classes. It was like, nah, it's so funny. I mean, listen, I've been Atrioc for a long time. So this is a very long time ago, but I definitely remember that. Holy Base Department is calling and wants to know your location. Get fuck off, dude. Okay, guys, without further ado, I want to talk about, do you want to do the Marketing Monday intro even though it's not a Marketing Monday? Is that going to overset expectations? This is not the Tesla Prez, okay? This is just, I just want to talk about a recent thing, okay? And my thoughts on it. So this is a clip, not a main channel, but we'll do it anyway. All right, without further ado, Poggy's me if you see yourself in the intro. Muted? Okay, let me turn off the, okay. Yo! I want to talk to you today. This is a clip channel. This is a special clip channel mini marketing Monday, and I want to talk to you today about American healthcare. Let's get this set up. Okay. American healthcare. Okay. Okay. The reason I want to talk to you about this today is that Donald Trump tweeted something recently that I actually liked, that I thought was good and interesting and worth discussing more. And so I wanted to bring up the subject of American healthcare because right now everybody is so fucking fed up with healthcare in this country that we're all thinking about picking up a blue shell. Okay, and doing you know what. So when Donald Trump comes out with a tweet that says, hey, we're going to slash, a truth. We're going to slash the cost of prescription drugs and we're going to bring fairness to America. Drug prices will come down. We're going to cut out the middlemen and facilitate direct sale of drugs at the most favored nation policy directly to the American citizen. I want to talk more about that and my complex thoughts on this simple truth, literally truth. But first, let's show you the video where he announced it.
Starting today, the United States will no longer subsidize the health care of foreign countries and will no longer tolerate profiteering and price gouging. For the first time in many years, we'll slash the cost of prescription drugs and we will bring fairness to America. Drug prices will come down. We're going to cut out the middlemen and facilitate the direct sale of drugs at the most favored nation price directly to the American citizen.
I'm just so grateful to be here today.
Just want to pause real quick and explain to you what most favored nation means here. Most favored nation means that no other country can charge less than America is the idea. So for example, if there's a drug like Ozempic or something that costs $30 in the UK, it has to be cost $30 in America. You can't charge more to us than you do anyone else. That's the idea of most favored nation.
Never thought that this would happen in my lifetime.
This is the most powerful executive order on pharmacy pricing and healthcare ever in the history of our nation.
Price match.
By getting our allies to pay a bit more, we'll course correct a problem that's gotten out of hand.
We're standing up for the American consumer who's been paying far too high prices for far too long.
We didn't take an oath to heal patients and then watch their life get ruined financially. We're going to do everything we can at the FDA to support this executive order. It's transformative. Thank you, Mr. President.
Okay. I mean, big news, big announcement. I think before we move on, that all of us can agree that healthcare prices have to come down in America. Okay? So any legislation that is around that subject is something that I can always get behind. I was recently doing some research on thumbnail strategy for podcasts. And I was, for the Lemonade Stand, and I was looking at top podcasts on YouTube and seeing what they do. And I came across this podcast called Midas Touch. That is like the number 4 biggest YouTube podcast. And I'm going to be honest with you, it shocked me. I want to make sure that my channel never looks like this. Listen, I have many things that I'm extremely critical of Donald Trump on consistently, but I hate this. This is like the same thing about the channels that are all like China collapses in 30 days. It's just Trump and an arrow, and this stuff is trash to me. This is all slop. Okay? I'm just saying what I think about each new news event as it comes out. And so far, it's been pretty negative. But if there's an idea that I support or I'm behind, I will, of course, promote it. Okay? So I want to talk through this. I also want to give credit here to Trump for being extremely funny in his announcement of this program.
I mean, I'll tell you a story. A friend of mine who's a businessman, very, very, very top guy. Most of you would have heard of him. A highly neurotic, brilliant businessman, seriously overweight, and he takes the fat shot drug. And he called me up and he said, President, he calls me, he used to call me Donald, now he calls me President, so that's nice respect. But he's a rough guy, smart guy, very successful, very rich. I wouldn't even know how we would know this, but because he's got comments. President, could I ask you a question? What? I'm in London and I just paid for this damn fat drug I take. I said, it's not working. He said, He said, I just paid $88. And in New York, I pay $1,300. What the hell is going on?
Okay, not how I would have phrased it, but he's getting to the heart of the matter, which is that drugs in America can cost 1,000% more than they cost in other countries. Okay? And this can literally cause, deaths, right? Insulin costing more in America is literally killing people. People are dying because you can get it cheaper across the border. You can't get it in America, okay? This is fair. Now, before we move on, I want to explain a little bit about how healthcare breaks down in America, especially if you're not American. 55% of Americans, that is most of us, if we have health insurance at all, get it from our jobs. We have to get it from work. This is why many people are afraid to quit their jobs or have to take a job less than they want. It's because you can only get health insurance through your workplace. That's like the only real way to get it. So most Americans get it through that. However, we do have some government-provided health care in America. People don't talk about it much, but we do have it for two specific groups. We have Medicare and Medicaid. Now, Medicare applies to old people, namely our presidents. But if you're 65 or older, you can get access to Medicare. This applies to 68 million people, okay? This is a huge number of Americans who get access to healthcare or subsidized healthcare through taxpayer money through the government. Then we have Medicaid. This applies mostly to disabled people, people who have permanent disabilities, or poor people, people under a certain income threshold. So Medicare is for old people. Medicaid is for people who are under a certain income threshold or have a disability, okay? Or children. That's 80 million people. So combined, about a third of Americans do have government-provided healthcare in some way, some government-subsidized healthcare. And the idea is supposed to be this, okay? The idea is that Americans all pool our money in terms of taxes. We all give our taxes to the government. The government puts some of these taxes in Medicare and Medicaid. Those programs give some of the tax money to healthcare companies who then give pills and drugs to sick people. That's the idea. Our taxes go to a government program. The government program gives the money to healthcare companies. They give pills to sick people. That's the idea, okay? Now let's talk about Walmart real quick. Let's talk about Walmart. Walmart has a lot of goods on their shelf from different suppliers, okay? Let me give an example. This is Tide. Walmart does not make Tide. They just display Tide on their shelves, okay? But Walmart has a lot of power here. And if they want Tide to lower their price so they can get a low, everyday low price, Walmart can go to Tide and say, hey, we have millions of customers. Lower your price if you want access to them, or we'll go somewhere else. That is not an example. That is what Walmart actually does, okay? When Tide said, no, we're not going to lower our price, Walmart found a deal with somebody else and put that on the shelves. And they kind of pressured Tide into offering a better price. And Walmart can do this because they have so many customers. People want to have their business. They want to be on their shelf. Imagine having millions of customers, but not being allowed to negotiate with drug producers. Well, that's exactly what happens. In America, our government-provided healthcare through Medicare and Medicaid, which has hundreds of millions of people, is not allowed by law to negotiate at all with pharmaceutical companies. They cannot say, hey, give us a good deal on these pills to get access to our millions of people. Because pharma lobbyists have written the rules that they literally can't. They cannot negotiate. They have to pay top dollar whatever they're charging with our taxpayer money. Now that's fucking crazy. That's crazy. Biden, again, has tried to do similar things as Trump here and gotten sued by pharmaceutical trade groups. They spend millions and millions and millions of dollars on lobbying, and it's one of the reasons they've written our laws to be so cooked. And they can change and reword laws at will. And that is why, in the reality, what happens is we all pay our money into this taxpayer thing for Medicare and Medicaid, and then they drastically overpay these healthcare companies to give drastically overpriced pills to sick people. And so a huge amount of our budget is just going to overpaying for certain things from these companies, okay? We need to understand. And let me give you a real world example to make it more clear. This is Canadian insulin. It is not a fancy word for maple syrup. It's just a real insulin vial in Canada that diabetics need, okay? It's not maple syrup flavored. It's just Canadian insulin. Now, Canadian insulin costs $12 a vial, okay? This is American insulin. USA, USA. This is freedom insulin. This is incredible insulin you can get across the border from Canada. Now, this is obviously a premium product, and that's why it costs $103 a vial. Now, scientists will tell you this is the exact same product. This is the exact same product. But in America, it costs $103 a vial. Now, what does this insulin vial cost to make? Well, it turns out that both of these vials, because they're exact same, cost between $2 and $4. Which means even the Canadian one has a high profit margin, let alone the insanely upmarked American one. Now, I want to talk to you a bit. Some of you, I've mentioned certain times that in general, for things like consumer products especially, I am a fan of what you might call a free market. I think it creates innovation. I think it drives down prices. It creates more things. But people often say, well, this is the free market. You can charge what you want. That's the free market. I want to explain a couple things about the idea of a free market, especially the word free. Now, look, if I go to Toyota and I see this Toyota car and I'm like, it's a little overpriced or it doesn't have the right interior or the color that I want, I can say no. I can walk and go get a Honda Civic. That is a free market. Or if I don't want the Honda Civic, I can go get a Tesla. If I don't want a Tesla, I can go to BMW. I have a lot of options and I can pick amongst these cars, okay? So that way they create a lot of different stacks for different income levels. If I have a vial of insulin and they charge too much for me to afford and I walk, I die. I die. That is not a free market. I don't have a choice. If this is the monopoly provider of insulin in my country, I cannot walk. The key ingredient of a free market is the ability to walk. If I can't walk away, then you are just able to extract whatever money from me you want at all. Additionally, on the subject of profit, $8 profit on I'm using the $4 estimate, which is the highest estimate of insulin cost. If it costs them $4 to make these sell for $12, that's still a massive, obscene profit margin, let alone the $99 one they have in America. And they'll tell you that this combined 107 profit is for a good reason, okay? Maybe we're paying more in America, but it's to benefit innovation, okay? The reason we pay more is because we're gonna get more innovative drugs. What these pharma companies might tell you is that all this extra profit is going to develop insulin too. This is the golden super insulin, okay? They need this extra money to go and develop a better project, insulin 2, a new drug. Now, I want you to understand that even if this is true, even if all of this that I just showed you, this chart and this is true, this is still kind of problematic. And I think Donald Trump is honing in on this. Because if you look at this, it's like, okay, even if all this money is going to R&D, America is paying a huge chunk of it. America is essentially a pay pig to develop drugs that the rest of the world is getting for cheap. That's, even under this example, this is still a weird situation for America where they're drastically overpaying to do all of the R&D funding. They're a pay pig. However, the real problem is that this 107 profit here is not going to insulin 2. The majority of the profit from these companies is going to sales and marketing. Significantly more money goes to sales and marketing than it does to R&D. R&D is a small percentage of the overall income they're making. Now, I love a good marketer, but we don't really need to see another fucking pharmaceutical ad during the NBA when they could be spending it on R&D. Again, here's an example from the top 3 companies. Johnson & Johnson spends double on sales and marketing than it does on R&D. Pfizer spends double than it does on R&D. Additionally, some of that money, it may shock you, goes to exorbitant CEO bonuses, like the Pfizer CEO's $17.4 million a year yearly bonus. So, more realistically, this 107 profit on our expensive insulin is going to yachts, ads, and a little bit of insulin too. A little bit. Probably enough on insulin too that could be supported by a $12 price in both locations. Okay? And so when I think about all of this, I think about a man who was probably talking about it first. Grumpy old Bernie Sanders. Okay? And you know what? This has been admitted. As this bill was being rolled, this executive order was rolled out by RFK, he mentioned Bernie Sanders.
People, this was the fulcrum of Bernie Sanders' runs for presidency, that he was going to eliminate this discrepancy between Europe and the United States. But as it turns out, none of them were doing it. It's one of these promises that politicians make to their constituents, knowing that they'll never have to do it. And
that is an interesting way to phrase it. That is an interesting way to phrase it. It's one of those promises politicians make knowing they'll never have to do it. And so I read Bernie's response to this executive order. He said he agrees with it. It's an outrage. I agree with President Trump. It's an outrage. But as Trump well knows, his executive order will likely be thrown out by the courts. If you're serious about making real change rather than just a press release, you have to support legislation. And I want to drill into that because I am in full support if Donald Trump is really behind this program to bring costs down for Americans. And I have no reason to believe he doesn't. It's kind of an easy win for America. But if you're serious about it, it cannot be done via executive order. And I want to mention that there could be nefarious intents as well. And I want to bring these up, okay? If you don't know, in 2019, during Trump's last year of his first term, he did almost the exact same executive order. This is not a new executive order. This is one he's tried before. And when he did it in 2019, 2020, it was blocked by the courts. Okay? The courts blocked it. He tried to lower drug prices and the courts blocked it. So Trump may have different motivations. He may be doing it so he gets a bunch of headlines talking about how he wants to lower prescription drug prices. And then when the courts block it, has an easy way to attack the courts. Because if you're not doing it through legislation without getting actual House and Senate to approve it and put it into law, then it's likely to get stopped. To give you a simple example, if I was president and I said, hey, I'm going to write an executive order saying free candy for everyone, the courts would block it because it's not within my authority. I can't do that. And then I could turn around and say, hey, look at that. The fucking courts don't want you to have free candy and get you all mad at the courts. And I want you to understand that seems to be at least partially some of the motivation here. The goal seems to be to do something that everyone does agree on, that when it gets blocked because it's not under the president's authority, gets you mad at the courts. I am fully supportive of this idea. You can call it the Trump bill being passed in legislation. I really am. I think it's a great idea. But I am wary of the idea of doing it via executive order when you know it is out of your scope and will get blocked by the courts. And again, at the same time, we have a big, beautiful bill going through the House that is proposing to cut Medicaid, cut Medicare. And so it's hard to believe that these ideas are going to help American healthcare while at the same time the bill actually being passed, the one that's likely to actually get signed into law, is cutting it. So again, I'm supportive, but I have to see actual legislation. And I want to say that I read this executive order, and this executive order says, and very simply, if you don't bring your drug prices down to match Europe in the next 30 days, you're in violation. And right when it was announced, right when it was announced, pharma stocks dropped because they were panicked. Oh my God, we have to bring our prices down? But then people realized this was 100% going to get blocked by the courts, and pharma stocks instantly recovered. They're back to exactly where they were. Pharma stocks are basically saying it's all bark and little bite. So what you have to understand is like exactly what RFK said. The market and the pharma companies are treating this like, hey, this is mostly a joke designed to be a big talking point, but not real. And I would like it to be real. I do think Americans spend too much on drugs, too much on healthcare, way more than the rest of the world on all these things for worse outcomes. Again, we spend more per capita on healthcare than anywhere else, but have lower quality of life, live less long. There's many, many deep structural flaws in American healthcare. And I think matching our prices with other countries like Canada right across the border is a great idea. I'm fully supportive of it. But I want to be real that if this is just a play to get people mad at judges so you can get rid of judges, that's just evil. That's just downright evil. So hopefully we can all agree and try to get actual legislations passed on lowering healthcare. Whether it's through Bernie, whether it's through RFK, whether it's through Trump, I don't give a shit. I literally just want people to stop actually dying. I'm pulling up due to the inability to afford their medication. Okay? Thanks for listening. Appreciate it. Small little update, but hope you enjoyed. So yeah, thank you for listening to that. I saw that Truth Social post from Trump, and I wanted to give my nuanced thoughts because I really do like the idea, but I think we're all sick of not just Republicans we're sick of politicians saying things that sound good and don't amount to anything. Don't materially change what people can afford or buy. And I think there's potential here. I think there's bipartisan potential here to make a bill that fucks over pharma companies, which I know they the world's most oppressed class, but I think they can, they're due their turn to get fucked over. I think it's their turn, and I think this would be a good bill, and there really is potential. I saw a lot of support for this across the aisle, and I think it would be very cool if this turns into legislation. I agree with most of that, but makes you think it's a convoluted play to rile up the public against the court. I'm not alleging conspiracy, okay? I am just saying that the likely outcome, the outcome that is being predicted by markets, is that nothing happens because it's blocked by the court. And so in 30 days, I mean, we're going to know in 30 days. In 30 days, this executive order demands they bring prices down, but they won't do it. Prices will not be lower in 30 days. So what happens then? Does Donald Trump get everyone riled up, angry at Congress to pass legislation? Or does he get everyone riled up, angry at the courts for blocking his executive order? If it's the first one, based, my president. If it's the second one, then it wasn't much of a conspiracy, was it? Okay? So we'll know in 30 days. I am responding to the facts as I see them. And the facts are that the market is not expecting this to happen. And I would like it to actually happen. Isn't that the issue with the majority of our issues? The majority? Yeah, 100%. Again, I think the deep rot at the heart of America is money in politics, specifically Citizens United, specifically the ever-growing cancerous arm of lobbyists. There's one lobbyist for every senator, member of the House, executive. There's actually more than one. There's dozens. Okay? Lobbyists are a huge part of the problem. And their ability to literally write legislation that gets passed and make the laws that govern themselves makes it impossible for us to stop, to even have any competition. One thing I talked about this on the pod. I want to spoil you guys a little bit. Some of what I just said in that presentation is in the podcast today, but not my fault. Doug brought up the Trump tweet, and I was already working on that, so I said some things that I was going to say today. I was trying to not bring it up. I was trying to do it on this stream only and not on the But there's some examples that I'm going to reuse if you watch the pod. Deal with it. I don't know what to tell you. That's the and I just find it to be really, really problematic. Won't courts have more incentive not to block it this time? For a court, it's not an incentive thing. They shouldn't be. The court should say, the reason they blocked it last time was like it was overreach. It was like not within the executive's authority to do this, right? They just don't have. They just reading the law. You just can't. By the way, the way it was written both times, it's an executive order. It's short, right? It's pretty vague. So it says things like, in ways that are impossible to enforce. And so when it gets sued, as it will by the pharma companies, they look at the law and they go, yeah, you don't have that authority. And so it gets blocked. It will get blocked by the courts. So the question is whether or not that turns into a legislation or it turns into anti-judicial or what. Is lobbying just legal bribing? Essentially, yeah. Yeah. A system is what it does, man. There's people that will show you the 1 in a million rare examples of lobbying. That's not this, but, on the whole, lobbying is a way to turn money into political power. So that's what it is. A system is what it does. All this talk about lobbying, senators should jump into a modern warfare 2 lobby and settle it that way. He's a fucking hero, folks. That'd be some real shit. The things they would say, though. Thoughts on ethics law being violated for Trump's private jet gift? This is the type of shit you can go to Midas News Network for, or fucking Brian Cohen or whatever. This is the type of shit that gets covered on YouTube all the time that I don't really care about. It's so small. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. It has nothing to do with the economy. It's just a fucking, I don't care. It doesn't, I don't think it's the coolest thing in the world. I think it's funny that Obama turned down the smallest gifts in the world, but I'm not going to make a video on this because I don't care. I'm not a daily cover of fucking every little MSNBC thing. Honda closed the plant in Canada. Sheesh. Honda hogs rise up. They're in the United States now. What's this? Tesla Optimus dancing? What's this? Oh, God. You're telling me you're not spending 20 to 30 grand to watch this thing shake its ass? Hit that shit, white boy. Look at them cheeks. But can it hit the Luddy? It's going to be the modern day John Henry, dude. It's going to be Lud versus a robot doing the Luddy. Dude, he's going to die doing it. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess that was a cool dance, but I don't see the 100 trillion in profit that he was saying. I don't see the use case just yet, but we'll see. We'll get there. Oh, I missed some gifties? Well, la-di-da. Let me thank some people. Thank you, FTX Dev, for the 5 gifted. Thank you, Toy Dragon, for the 12 months. Thank you, Sigma Fiesta, for the 28 months. Thank you, Jaw Bridge, for the 20. Thank you, Grout and Cement, for the 3 months. Painless Bread with the Prime. Conray Rest with the 29 months. Lenny for the 12. Mithy Thunder for the 31. Turak 46 for the 30. Popsicle 2003 for the 25. Commander Nova, thank you for the 12 months. Toby G for the 27. Ox Killer for the 30. Spongy Hands for the 29. Jerry TT for the 27. Second Hand Flatulence for the Prime. All right, I hit the peak of my voice. Thank you very much, all, for the subs. Appreciate it. Scout Monkey, thanks 7 months. Lily Lees, thank you for the 42 months. Bob John, I think I generally agree with you. He's basically saying, well, what this legislation is doing, that Trump and Bernie are proposing, is essentially having other countries do the negotiation for. It's a way around the laws against negotiation. So, for example, America cannot negotiate for a lower price on insulin. But if Canada has done that and gotten it down to $12, then this law basically says America will not take it if it's not lower price than Canada, or if it's not the same price as Canada. So we get $12 insulin. We're just outsourcing negotiations to other countries, which is fine. And I like it. It's also good because it's not a direct, specific price control. Like, the company is free, I guess, to raise prices, but they'd lose access to the Canadian market and then likely the American market. So they're gonna, it's the same thing as Walmart. It's like Tide can walk away from Walmart if they want to, but they choose not to because getting a ton of customers is worth it. The ability to negotiate is not up, it doesn't break free markets anyway. The ability to negotiate is a core aspect of it. And I think that most drug companies would offer all of their latest and greatest drugs at lower prices if the alternative was not having access to the U.S. consumer. They just won't say fuck you. The loss of money would be too great for them. Even if they made, again, as I mentioned with insulin, $2 to make, or $4 to make it, $12 to sell it in Canada, $8 profit. Look at that percentage. It's a massive profit margin. If they got that alone, that's still worth a business. Doing $99 is insane. FT film? Oh, yeah, there was an FT business. Where's this video? Is it on their YouTube? Financial Times YouTube. Can a judge fairly stop an order, or does an entity have to sue? I mean, an entity will sue. They already have sued, I think. And so it'll be done through that. First time tuning in, but I wanted to say you're my only source of news as a 20-year-old. If you turn up your sarcasm level, I'm screwed. Turn it up. Bro, how can I go higher? I do not, every day I get a fucking DM from somebody telling me to be less sarcastic. Or I get a DM from someone who doesn't understand I'm being sarcastic and sends me the fucking stupidest message of all time. That's the worst. That actually makes me crash out in my... If I'm like, oh, dude, I was trying to think of a recent example. I mean, there's a million. I'm sure I read one today, but my brain blocks it out now. But like, oh my God. I don't know. Like if I said something like, you know, we should make a fucking gambling program to decide which college kids get into or whatever. You know, like obviously fucking joking. I'm laughing and smiling as I said it. Someone will be like, no, that doesn't fucking work. Okay, people shouldn't have to gamble to get their college education. It's like, shut the fuck up. How can you not? How can I make it more clear? Oh my God, it's so annoying. I feel like I need a fucking /S for college freshmen. A laugh track. Okay, anyway, let's... Oh, this is kind of long. I'm not so sure about it. What if there's a different video we could watch? Somebody said House.
Oh my
We're not gonna watch. We're not gonna watch House, and the reason is we finished House. What? Oh, we can watch that Good Work video.
Every time.
Let's watch little Dan Toomey Good Work. They had 1 million on a new video. Let's see what this is about. The mysterious new industry cranking out billionaires. I'm trying to crank a billionaire, you know what I'm saying? Get some of that Elon Musk money.
A new billionaire is created, I get a tattoo of their face on my chest. So when I had to get inked up 18 times over the last decade to celebrate a bunch of guys who became billionaires off of a mysterious new darling of finance called private credit, I just knew something was afoot. So afoot that it's got the rest of Wall Street fighting for a turn at the money hose, and of course a coveted spot next to my right nipple. So what's this thing that's getting everyone rich now? Huh? I started my investigation by watching what's well known to be the horniest media outlet we got spinning today. Bloomberg.
Private credit remains the hottest market.
Isn't that where he works?
The sexiest story on the street.
It's very sexy.
Private credit. It's like the hottest thing on the street.
Private credit is so hot.
Private credit is looking more attractive.
Private credit is getting so hot.
Private credit is really...
Why do they call investment sexy? Private credit. I want to fuck private credit. Private credit is looking breedable and submissive.
attractive.
Private credit as an industry really has come of age.
I'm glad I'm not the only one who finds this arousing. Seeing words like explosive growth, mega deals, shadow banking, and not a bubble just give me a tingle in my journalists. But like most times I'm aroused, I'm also deeply confused.
It's really simple. Even credit, for a lot of viewers, that sounds kind of weird and, you know, finance speak. It's just funds making loans to businesses. And that's all it is.
Dude, I gotta say something. There's an epidemic, and it's gone on for my entire life. And it's people on Wall Street finding a different name for debt. The big one we talk about is buy now, pay later, which is so funny because it's literally called buy now, pay later. That's what debt always has been and always will be. You buy something now, you pay for it later. That's just debt. Calling it buy now, pay later, calling it private credit, calling it IOUs, it's all just fucking the same thing. It's different names for the same thing.
And there's nothing really that sexy about it.
Speak for yourself, Robert
Well, it
Smith,
is sexy,
corporate
though.
finance editor at the Financial Times.
FT?
Some of us are attracted to
That's my
highly
goat.
profitable businesses and would love to get to know them better.
Essentially, private credit is just a loan being made, usually to a pretty risky company, a highly indebted one, from a non-bank. So sometimes they call it...
Oh, good. So it's a fancy way for a risky loan. That's never had any problems in American history. Like a CDO. Just make a really risky loan, but package it up in a nice name.
Non-bank lending, and it's an almost $2 trillion market. And it's up almost 10 times what it was right before the financial crisis.
Maureen Farrell is a reporter for the New York Times covering Wall Street.
Before the great financial crisis in 2008, you could essentially go to a bank for a pretty risky loan. Afterwards, because of all the regulations around banks, it became a lot trickier for banks to go take money from depositors and put it in a risky loan. They were worried about companies not paying it back.
That's why private credit firms like Apollo, Ares, Blue Owl, and Oaktree swooped in from outside the traditional banking system and offered to lend to these risky businesses in exchange for some hefty interest rates and fees. This is making them rich as hell, and all those clams are attracting young professionals to private credit like a moth to moth food.
You know what's funny is, I mean, the problem with things like this is when it gets so big that their failure can ruin the economy and they have to get bailed out. If these companies did not get bailed out, I don't have a fucking problem with it. If you want to give someone a risky fucking loan, be my guest. Then when they don't pay the loan, you lose. Your company fails. I don't care. That's fine. I really don't care. There's nothing wrong with it. Like, I tell people not to use Klarna, but I don't have a problem with Klarna existing because Klarna's going to go out of business. Klarna's a bad business. People aren't going to pay the fucking loans. They're going to lose it. I don't care. Like, I think it should be educated on. I think you need to know what you're getting into, but I don't care. Like, you're going to lose. But whenever these private credit companies get so deeply enmeshed in banks and government and get fucking massive that when they collapse with their bad loans and I have to pay it with my taxpayer dollars, that's when I get fucking pissed because that ruins the whole economy. Okay? If you want to be a loan shark, be my guest.
Professionals to private credit like a moth to moth food.
They are getting top talent, these firms now. People are graduating from Wharton or Harvard or MIT, and rather than saying, I want to go work for Goldman, they're saying, I want to go work for Apollo or I want to go work for Blue Owl.
Matt Wirtz is a reporter covering credit for the Wall Street Journal.
Recently, I was in Hudson Yards, which is this like fancy new kind of office area, and I was on the escalator, and the woman in front of me had a backpack, and it was one of those like swag backpacks. It was a nice one. I think it was an Osprey, and it had a Blue Owl logo on it.
That's right. Nothing announces the arrival of a Wall Street titan like a fresh new bougie hiking backpack.
Dude, I have an NVIDIA backpack that I just took from work. I think it's mine. They gave it to me for Christmas or something. I have an NVIDIA backpack that has the logo embroidered on it, right? Black backpack, NVIDIA logo. And I was wearing it at the airport recently, like long after I quit. And a guy came up to me and tapped me on the shoulder and goes, "You work at NVIDIA?" Like, when I worked there, nobody would ever do this in my fucking life. Ever. Not even close. And he was like, "How did you get that job? I've been wanting it so bad." I'm like, he was like, "Bet you're pretty happy about the stock, huh?" This is about a fucking year ago. And it was just so funny because that has never, ever happened to me when I worked there. And then after, he was like starstruck from the fucking logo of my backpack. When I worked there, my parents would lie about what I did. My parents would like have to explain something else because nobody knew what the fucking company was. Did you tell them that you quit? Yeah, I told them that. But I didn't tell them I was a streamer. Because I don't want to explain it. I was like, yeah, I work somewhere else now.
Fuck your JanSport. And it seems like all these guys are making a decent amount of money without going through the usual Wall Street humiliation ritual.
Was you at NVIDIA? I was the guy that hand soldered every single GPU in my garage. So if you have a 30 series, 40 series, or even 20 series, I built it myself. I would put it together and I would share. I made them with love. Okay? And it's American made, and it's raw and it's real. Taiwan took those jobs from me. Thanks, liberals.
Like I have a much better work-life balance, I think, than people that work in IB or, on Wall Street doing this type of stuff, which I appreciate. Like, I'm not having to chug vodka Red Bulls to grind out 10 different merger memos in an IB shop, and just for like color, like just me, one guy, what I manage in terms of like loan dollars, I probably have 15 that I'm on, and in total just the loan capitalization is like, probably close to $1 billion.
Wait, I gotta blow my nose. It's very stuffed. Hey, do you guys know if there's other channels like Oversimplified where they like, do you guys know like where they do history in like a funny way? I would love to watch more of that. I really like Oversimplified. I think they do actually a great job. I watched one on my own recently and I was just like, damn, this is like one of the greatest things on YouTube. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it really is it's like teaching kids history, probably not even kids, anyone, but especially younger people who use YouTube, better than a history teacher often. Like, they're more likely to remember it. So if there's other shit like that, I would love to watch that on stream. I think it's really good. I think more people should know about how we got to certain spots and like what happened in moments of history. And I think it would be a good thing for us to regularly watch.
Time for a quick break so I can tell you all about something that could not be more for decades down to the capital. But thanks to these easily crafted, impossible, no-code web
Check out
Hostinger,
Hostinger.
builder that makes every needed digital presence.
Dude, what a
slinging,
long
soliciting,
ad.
and
My
selling
God.
seashells. 24.
Is it? Wait, it's like 1/3 of this video an ad? Holy God.
Hostinger Horizons is for the people. See you on the beaches, scallywags.
All right, check it out.
Private credit is high risk, high reward compared to the boring old stock market, but it's seen as a pretty safe investment compared to something like private equity.
Dun, dun, dun.
Haha, missed me again. Now, in private equity, you buy a piece of a company and then try to maximize its profits. But that also means you can lose your entire investment if the company implodes. In private credit, you're just lending money to a company and then getting a steady drip of interest payments back. In theory, a pretty reliable way to invest in private, potentially riskier companies. And investors have been a-flocking.
Pension funds, it's teachers, firefighters, university endowments, and sovereign wealth funds. And they go to these people because these new private credit providers have sought to get huge amounts of money to lend. And those are the people who write the biggest checks.
Love the biggest checks. My favorite size. I'm talking area. Those big novelty checks, send them to daddy.
Okay.
I want them. And
All
all
right.
that new money has tripled the size of the private credit industry over the last decade to $1.5 trillion.
1.6 actually,
That's
look.
tripled, as in tripled. Maureen?
You start seeing these like newly minted billionaires. Everyone's telling you this, it's the hottest, can't lose investment.
I mean, I don't know where this video goes, but I assume they're going to talk about the risks. The idea that there is a new hot can't lose investment, which is just giving risky loans to businesses. this as echoes of previous. There's a new hot lose investment, which is giving house loans to people that can't afford them. There's a new can't lose investment, which is just giving fucking loans for people to order a burrito that they can't afford.
And I think anytime anything grows so quickly out of nowhere, it feels like you have to take a look at it. It feels like it needs scrutiny.
You want scrutiny? Well, let me take it from here, acclaimed New York Times journalist. While private credit is advertised as having pretty safe and steady returns, these companies borrowing money can be pretty unreliable and sometimes can't pay back their debts. In just the past year, the Chicken Soup for the Soul company couldn't pay back their loan of over $60 million. Zips Car Wash had to ask for an extension on its payment because it was bleeding cash. The tech bros over at CoreWeave borrowed $7.5 billion to buy...
CoreWeave stock just tanked today, by the way. CoreWeave stock down. A bellwether of an upcoming AI slowdown? I don't know.
And rent out NVIDIA chips, but then violated the agreement. Education software company Pluralsight got taken over by their debt collectors because they couldn't pay. And paper manufacturer Progest was accused of using their loan to fund their Prosecco vineyard and buy a yacht.
Kid's actually based. That's like when, like in 2014 to 2018, when people would just start a fucking tech company to get huge amounts of VC funding and then blow it on parties in South by Southwest and accomplish nothing and then dissolve the company 3 years later. It's like, all you did was get a really good time on somebody else's dime, bro. If they're stupid enough to loan it to you, it's like, if YouTube gives you $4 million for a contract and you blow it on off-brand. People have good times. People have a good time.
Personally, wouldn't get mad at Progest for that. And while these are all isolated instances, some experts worry that they could get more common.
Not the real amount. Just to be clear, probably the real amount lost in off-brand, but not the real amount of his contract. Just to be clear.
So there's truly a question of what will happen if the economy starts running into trouble, and it's just very untested.
Oh wait, you know what? I wonder if I can ever talk about that. But here's a clip. Remind me in 1 year, because I have some funny stories. Remind me in 1 year about this. XQC, still can't talk about it. XQC story, still can't talk about it, but
no test.
Actually, wasn't I about to tell the XQC story and then somebody said, already heard that one, Unk, when they hadn't heard it, and then I was like, fuck you, I'm never saying the story. I think that's what happened. Yeah, so get fucked. Fuck that guy.
Yet of this enterprise under really sustained risk and pressure financially.
Senator Jack Game Time Reed of Rhode Island sits on the Senate Banking Committee and has petitioned the Federal Reserve to impose more oversight on the private credit industry. He notes that private credit is just a whittled Gen Z baby that doesn't know how to drive stick or navigate a financial crisis. His own words.
So if interest rates remain high, that means the cost of the debt for these companies remains high. If you combine that with a recession where their revenue is going down and inflation where their costs are going up, then you could actually...
We will never have a recession or inflation in this country, as God is my witness. As Donald J. Trump, my king, will tell you, it is all up from here. Golden era. So I'm investing in private credit. There's no worries.
We see a lot of companies having difficulty paying back their debt at the same time. That's going to be a real test.
Private credit grew like a motherfucking weed in the low-rate, high-growth 2010s. But now, the economy is showing signs of recession. And rates are higher, which means borrowing companies are making less in cash and paying more in loans because of those rising interest rates. In fact, now over a third of private credit borrowers now owe more in interest than they generate in earnings.
Jesus Christ.
All this adds up to a...
That's worse than a zombie company. Owing more in interest than your company makes. That you're not a real company. You're dead. That you might as well be dead. That's not
potential nightmare scenario, especially when you throw in that regulators have basically no jurisdiction over private credit because of private.
Some of this stuff is a bit Schrodinger's cat, right? You have a box which is your private credit fund, and it's only really at the end of the 7 years, however long.
God damn it! It's obviously so stupid. It's obviously a dumb idea, and it obviously will fail. But when it fails, please don't fucking bail it out. Please, please, Obama, don't come back and bail it out. Please, Donald Trump, don't bail it out. Please, please don't bail it out. Christ, just let him fail. There'll be a fucking lesson learned. Just don't bail it out.
Your money's locked up for, that you get to open it up and find out whether the cat's alive or dead. So yeah, might be quite a few dead cats kicking around in a few years.
The scariest part, though, is just how big it's become out of nowhere and how opaque it is. You can't really see the full picture. Regulators don't have the full picture.
One of the problems that goes back to a fundamental problem, transparency. We don't know what these terms are, how long they're holding it, what rights they have to be reimbursed, etc.
Even though these folks are giving out loans like banks, they aren't regulated like banks. There's no oversight on loan sheets or independent checks on how healthy the borrowing company actually is. Meanwhile, investment managers point to private credit as a leading possible cause of the next financial crisis.
That's good.
Mom's hall pass, Jamie Dimon, has said that there could be hell to pay if private credit starts to crack. But while the risks are growing, so too is private credit also, with one estimate saying that the industry could triple by 2030. That's triple, as in triple. And all this growth could be making things riskier, or at least weirder, with loans financed in all kinds of ways for all kinds of stuff.
It could be backed by millions of transactions, like buy now, pay later transactions.
Oh, that's
or
good.
Peloton contracts.
Peloton contracts.
You can buy private credit debt that's backed by music royalties. Like there are people that take out loans to get elective plastic surgery, and you could buy bonds that are backed by that. Those are actually mostly public, but some of those deals are private. So as the scope of what private credit entails gets bigger, there's a lot more to choose from, and some of it is pretty safe and some of it is not. It's all kind of complicated. Complexity breeds risk. If you're going to edit all that stuff out, just
if Northern Lion stops using Peloton, it's gonna be the straw that breaks the camel's back. Once his Peloton contract is unpaid, that's the triple B bond getting taken out of the bottom of the that's the triple bald bond that goes out of the bottom of the Jenga tower, dude. It's all fucking collapsing.
stick with, like, it's complicated and complexity breeds risk.
I'm thinking maybe I should have just edited all that out and said it's complicated and complexity breeds risk. Too late. You can't change this stuff once it's in the camera.
True.
Everybody wants loans now, and private credit firms are fighting hard to hand them out. Lenders are reportedly competing with each other by taking on more risk, dishing out bigger loans with looser requirements for borrowers in order to win more business. Plus, banks, the very institutions that private credit was originally billed as the alternative to, are getting in on the action.
Okay, this is extremely complimentary. I like this video a lot. I am just now realizing that. And I'm not saying he's ever seen my stuff. This is kind of like a Marketing Monday, but he does it in personal life. You know what I'm saying? It's like these different headlines, and okay, I'm just now realizing that, and I'm realizing that my shit is all boring on a stream. I'm just sitting here on my fucking computer, and I should be standing up and walking around New York. I need to just stand in things. I need to be like standing in a Chili's or something.
Even regular people are getting involved. Ew. But unlike institutional investors, these normals have a finite amount of money, so they might panic and pull out when things get ugly. And that can affect the whole system. In general, experts and regulators alike are both concerned with what economists call mo money, mo problems.
Amen.
It's growing exponentially, becoming a systemic problem, not just a one-off.
This is the problem.
There is virtually no regulation.
Oh,
They're not
God.
regulated as the banks are by the Federal Reserve, the Office of Comptroller and Currency, the state banking regulators, and the clock is ticking.
Indeed, the clock is ticking, but there's no way of knowing how much time we have left. It's like a tick-tock, tick-tock you can't hear. Like a silent clock.
Then I'm going to tell you exactly what's happened. One of these private credit companies is going to blow up because some of their loans don't get paid back. Some companies are going to blow up. Some companies are going to fail. They don't pay their loans back. The private credit company is going to go under. It's going to be like the Lehman Bros or the Bear Stearns. It's going to fail, and the government will not bail it out. It'll fail. That will cause mass panic of everyone else calling their loans. And then all the other private companies, credit companies will fail. And then as they start to fail, there's going to be a huge pressure on the government to bail them out. They're going to fucking walk down to Wall Street, all the CEOs, all the times, and they're going to be like, hey, this is getting systemic. It's going to bring down the banks. It's going to bring down and then they're going to get a fucking SVB style bailout of all these private credit companies with government monies, and they won't fail. One of them will fail. One of them will fail, and the rest will live, and that's exactly what fucking happens every time. It's so fucked. They need to all fail, and they're just giving out bad loans and getting rich off of it. Why don't you want to bail them out? There's such a risk if they don't fail, if they don't get bailed. The reason I don't want to bail them out is because it creates the problem that has already been created in previous bailouts of moral hazard, where these guys know that if they give you a risky loan and it doesn't get paid back, they lose money. It's their problem. But if they give you 1 billion risky loans, if they give 1 million, if they get so big with their risky loans that it's a problem, then they're safe. So their bad decision is their problem when it's small, but it's everyone's problem when they go big. That is the moral hazard of these bailouts, which means every single time it's just a different flavor, but the same problem of Wall Street just finding a new way to go as big as possible with something stupid because they know they're safe. They have to not be safe. They have to fail. They have to lose money. They have to have somebody go bankrupt. And when that happens, and the next time they go, well, I don't want to give out this risky loan. We had decades where nobody gave out risky loans in this country because they thought if I give out a risky loan, it doesn't get paid back, I'll lose my money, I'll fail. But now that there's like this fucking safeguard, that then of course the incentive is to give out as many as you can.
Scary stuff, huh? Private credit is a lot of things. It's a lending system that provides cash for riskier businesses, that's largely unregulated, that's generated high returns and captured Wall Street's attention while growing their wallets. But it's also a black box of interconnected financial relationships that's growing and changing rapidly, and there's nary a peephole through which we can peep. But I guess maybe what you don't know can't hurt you. For good work, I'm Dan Toomey.
Fire stuff. Good video. Thanks, Dan Toomey. Scary stuff. Scary stuff. Steph's out of the playoffs? Yikes. Timberwolves? Fucking... Well, my wish is coming true. I hope Ant Edwards wins the whole thing and so Lakers can claim second place. I hope Timberwolves win the whole NBA fucking finals. And then so I can say Lakers were gentlemen second. Nah, Warriors not second. Warriors would have lost the Lakers. Sorry, not sorry. Knicks are taking it all. Fuck you. If they're taking it all, why are they losing to the Celtics tonight without Jason Tatum? Step it up, Knicks. I fucking hate the Celtics. I want you to win. You know, I'm the one that fucking tore Jason's Achilles. I snuck in and did that. It was a dart. Blow dart from the fucking top shelf. I did a Hitman style. I'm trying to fucking help you guys out. You guys aren't even taking advantage of it. I'm on that Nancy Kerrigan shit. Yeah. I'm on that Nancy Kerrigan shit, bro. Knicks fans are going to turn New York into Gotham City. What does that mean? What does that mean? You wouldn't like them when they're angry? That's the Hulk. That's not Gotham City. That's the Hulk. You're mixing metaphors. Super villains for real? Neither is a supervillain. The Hulk is a superhero and Gotham City is a city. Neither is a supervillain for real. None of what you're saying is making any sense. This guy's the metaphor police. All right. Based. I'm the woker. You know how I got these pronouns? All right. I possibly might be well, I guess I'll watch something else. But I might fuck around and end. I know what you're thinking. Not a very long stream there, Brandon. Here's my counterpoint. Actually, it was 3 hours. It's fine. The counterpoint is that I'm tired because I did the podcast. I was working on shit for the podcast, and then I did the podcast, and then I came back, and then I finished my slides, and I did another presentation, and now I'm eepy. And also, I have a guest out there, and they want to go get tacos. So I think I will watch one more video. How about this one? How NFL stadiums are engineered to maximize profit. That sounds interesting. I don't know shit about the NFL. I honestly don't watch football. I only watch basketball. I don't know much about it, but I think it'll be interesting.